Hi, it's Hils Carmichael from Resilience Central, and it is my very great pleasure to be here with the incomparable Gavin Andrews.
Incomparable? I've never been called that.
Who is a huge sort of guru in the world of resilience, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, guru is probably the wrong word. I do apologise. Don't use guru. Okay. So the magic that he brings is that he trains fantastic people to go into organisations and also to work with people one-to-one in order to improve their results and actually manage themselves better. But your background's kind of interesting because you're the man with the MBA who liked the business so much he went out and bought the company, didn't he?
Well, almost, yeah. So, yeah, my whole entry into this world was I used to work in media some time ago, and then I did an MBA and got into all the leadership stuff, all the theories, read all the books, and I was writing all my dissertations and exams and stuff. I could get distinctions on stuff about emotional intelligence, so I was a real expert in it all. And one day what I realised was I knew a lot about it and I wasn't doing any of it. And I just thought, well, there's something missing here. How can I know this stuff and not do this stuff? And then one day I went to a talk, and somebody was talking about the physiology of leadership, and they showed me this thing called Heartmath. And it just landed with me. I just thought, the theory is one thing, the theory is great, it's very useful, but what this is really all about is being able to do something to yourself. And what I realised was actually you can create a state in yourself that will enable you to be emotionally intelligent and put you in a space where you can be the best version of yourself, which means then you're going to be the best version of a leader that you can be.
Most definitely. So that kind of sounds like, excuse me, that is the missing link, isn't it? Because you can do all the book learning about that you want to do.
For sure.
But it's not. It's when you're under stress, you've got a deadline. Your mind isn't immediately going to go back and go, page 234. This is how you should be managing people.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of good stuff about there about what to do, and I'm a big fan of books. I think it's important to educate yourself in regards to all of that. And the deficit is definitely what you've just said. Is once you get stressed, all of the book learning just kind of goes out the window, because the part of your brain that you use to store that and access it has gone offline.
Yeah.
And so what these techniques do is enable you to put yourself in a state that we call coherence. Coherence is a state of balance physiologically. That means that you can then self-regulate your stress reaction. It puts the prefrontal cortex back online again. And then when you put the prefrontal cortex back online again, you're less likely to do and say something stupid, and more likely to be able to be the best version of yourself and deal with the situation in the most effective way.
So the applications are huge, really. You could be on the sports field.
Yep.
You could be in business.
Yep.
You could be under that. You've got that high pressure deal that's going on, or it could just be dealing with the kids.
Absolutely. Well, dealing with the kids as well, I probably use it the most. I've got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
But you're right, the applications are endless. Generally speaking, what causes most people problems is some form of stress, whether it be because of their own beliefs, or because of perceptions they have about pressure or deadlines or other people or their health or whatever. Stress is getting in the way, and it's compromising people's performance and their health and their happiness. And the fact of the matter is we can't control a lot of what goes on around us in terms of events. But we can control our reactions.
What's going on with ourselves,
Absolutely. We're literally down to the level of our physiology, very, very quickly, and actually very simply, we can do that. And the shame is that most people just don't know that. The lovely thing that we have is a system where we can teach people these techniques, and we even have a piece of technology which will show them that they're doing it. So it just proves it. There's no doubt you are doing it to yourself.
Yeah, girl loves a gadget.
Yeah, for sure.
So if somebody's, typically, how is somebody who is under stress? How do they know that they're under stress?
Well, a lot of people don't know that they're under stress, although they use the word a lot. They don't have any sophistication around understanding it. But basically, the experience is, it's either mental, so it's certain thoughts that you're having. It's emotional, that's the largest one as far as we're concerned. So there's emotions and feelings going on that are broadly unpleasant.
So you get heightened heart rate,
faster heart rate,
sweaty hands.
Yeah, the sweat, maybe metallic taste, tension in the body, sweating, all of that type of thing is a signature, if you like. And it's the physiology actually where we can begin to take control again. It's actually quite hard to think yourself out of a stressful situation for the reasons I said before. The part of the brain that does that, the prefrontal cortex, is offline, especially the more stressed you are.
It's kind of almost as if it's been lobotomized, isn't it, really?
Exactly, you've lost a bit of your brain that makes you the smart, lovely human being that you are most of the time. You just basically become a reptile version of yourself, and you're acting like an idiot. And so, if you can get the physiology balanced again, simply through breathing, will balance your physiology, then you're in a place where actually you have a choice about how you would rather feel and what you'd rather do, because you've put yourself back in charge. You're the driver. You're not being driven by your emotions and by your stress.
So something could be happening that you've got no control over, but you could be choosing, just getting yourself back under control and choosing how you want to respond in the best way to your children, to that person that you're really not happy with at work, to the stress and the situations that are going on.
Yep.
And actually, chronic stress has a profound impact on the body as well, doesn't it? I mean, you see links to obesity, diabetes.
I think, we train medical professionals, and I've never had a single medical professional give me a figure under 80% when I say to them, what percentage of people do you think you see ultimately their problem is stress? They say 80%, some of them say 90, 95, some even say 100. Stress is the problem in the Western world. And the diseases that we have, these weird mismatched diseases like diabetes and chronic heart disease, that thousands of years ago people just didn't get.
No.
They're part of our world, mainly because of stress.
And there's different ways that you can manage it, because typically I've spoken to people who say, well, I've got this huge workload, I've just got to get on with it, I've just got to push on through, and I'll have a massage at the weekend or something. And to my mind, it's kind of a little bit crazy, because you're kind of like shutting the door after the horse has bolted, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, keep having the massage. Have the baths with the candles, and do yoga, and basically anything that enables you to feel good, and it helps you rest and recuperate, or just changes the way that you think. That's all wonderful stuff. Keep doing it. Your glass of wine is not a problem. But what we also need is something real time in the moment.
Yes.
The real damage comes from experiencing stress throughout the day for hours and hours and hours, and then going home and trying to mop it up. What we need is something that in the moment we can reduce the unnecessary adrenaline and cortisol, the unnecessary behaviours that compromise our relationships and cause us problems. If we can do something in the moment, in addition to all of the wonderful relaxation stuff later on, that puts us in a great place to have a happier and healthier life.
So you can actually stop it dead in the moment?
Yeah, with practice for sure. Even the most stressful situations. I mean, we train people in the military, in the police. We train people who have very stressful jobs, and those people, it's not magic, I'm not going to pretend it is, but once they practice it and they master the techniques, which does not take long, they can stop stress dead in its tracks.
Great. And also, if they're dealing with something that's quite stressful at the moment, they can get themselves into a position where they can deal better with the facts that they have.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, when we're stressed, unless the stress does actually require a fight, flight, freeze response, so it's an appropriate stress reaction, if it doesn't require a fight, flight, freeze response, then what we need actually is logical, rational behaviour. Stress disables that part of your brain. It's the lobotomy you were talking about. But with these techniques, we can put that part of the brain back online again, and so therefore we can respond appropriately.
So if somebody was watching, you can get hold of Gavin through Heartmath UK. I'm a Heartmath coach anyway, and it's an essential part of what I do when I'm teaching people how to cope with the challenges they've got, so they can get outstanding results. But if you had any advice, just sort of quick and dirty for people who at the moment haven't got the time, but they just want some tips. If they can feel themselves becoming that creature they really don't want to be, what advice would you have for them?
Well, even when all hell's breaking loose, there's one thing that you can still control, which is your breath. So the simplest advice of all is, notice you're getting stressed, shift your attention into your heart or chest area, and then start breathing more deeply but comfortably in a nice balanced way. So anything around kind of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, nice and deep and comfortable. Keep the focus in the heart or chest area. Within 2, 3, 4 breaths, you begin to feel that the stress is ceasing, the body's going back into balance. If you could see inside your own brain, you'd see the activity shifting from the stress centres and switching back over into the prefrontal cortex. So listen, this might sound ridiculously simple, and therefore it can't be good, because simple stuff surely can't work. There is nothing more profound than the breath as far as the physiology is concerned. A Okay, life starts with it and it ends with it. So if we can recognise that and we can control it when we can't control everything else, you will actually hack your autonomic nervous system, get it out of stress, which is not helping you, put it back into a place of balance, and then from that place, the outcomes are more likely to be better than otherwise.
And you can get that focus back just in the moment. But not only that, you can have some profound implications with repeated practice for your health.
Sure. So, I mean, where this really goes, you make it part of your life, and it becomes a life skill in many ways. It's a philosophy. The philosophy is I can't control events, but I can control reactions. And when you get into that place and you're controlling unnecessary stress reactions and unnecessary and unhelpful amounts of adrenaline and cortisol in your body, and unnecessary behaviours and damaged relationships and stupid mistakes, that does benefit your health. I mean, what we're creating is balance in the autonomic nervous system, so there's less wear and tear, there's less cortisol, which is catabolic and breaks everything down, and so therefore the body is healthier and you're happier. And whilst I can't promise you won't get run over by a bus, what I can say, if you did that for the rest of your life, chances are you'd live a lot longer.
Probably able to run to avoid it.
You probably better dodge the bus, actually.
Okay. Gavin, thank you so much. If people want to get hold of Heartmath, what's the best way to?
Heartmath.co.uk is our website. You can reach me at info@heartmath.co.uk. Very happy to hear from anybody. So yeah, please get in touch.
Cool. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.